Welcome to the Unprofessional Professional Sports Show with your host, Brian S. Arndt, James Martin, Keith Engel, Bo Crouch, and Mike Tipton.
Good evening, everybody. This is the Unprofessional Professional Sports Show because it gets like that. 5 to 10 minutes in the show. It could be the 5 minutes last. You know how this goes. And I have my pals with me, Mike Tipton, James J. Train Martin, and, of course, Keith Engel from TGI Sports Network. How you fellas doing this evening?
Why are my hands always doing this? In every video I see of myself, I'm like going, my hands are going. I married into
talk with your hand. Well, at least you don't do the spirit fingers, that's different.
You're very demonic.
Well, you asked me how I'm doing. It's 6 o'clock. I got off work at about 5. I was professional then. I'm feeling very unprofessional right about now.
There you go. That's what I like to hear. Oh.
I like this version. Let's go.
So, guys, we're going to start off with some Major League Baseball. And last night, Pete Alonso becomes the Mets' all-time home run leader, passing Darryl Strawberry's home run record of 252. He hit 253 and 254, beating the Braves 13-5. Not him totally, but he was part of that problem. What do you guys think about that? That's pretty cool.
I think anytime somebody sets that type of record for a team, it's important. It's good for Pete Alonso because he's having a decent year and he's going to be opting out of the contract that he fought so hard to get last year. Didn't get quite what he wanted. So it's important for a lot of reasons. And he passes a big name in Mets history and even baseball history. And it also reminds you that, wait a minute, he only hit 250 some as a Met, Darryl Strawberry, but he hit a few more elsewhere. But still, it always reminds me when I hear Darryl Strawberry's name of wasted opportunity and what could have been. But Pete Alonso, he's the guy. Listen, I'm not the biggest Pete Alonso fan in the world, but he's the type of guy that we don't see a lot of franchise guys who stay one franchise their entire career, and he's approaching that time where you would think, boy, if he stays this entire career, that's going to make him so much bigger as far as his legacy goes. That's why, again, not being a Met fan or a Pete Alonso fan necessarily, I'd like to see him stay there.
That would be kind of funny, too, if he decides to leave the Mets after he just set their record. That would be kind of weird.
Not unusual today, right? I mean,
yeah.
I stay in one place today that's the abnormal see, not the other way around.
I think the craziest thing about that is seeing how low the all-time Mets home run record was, right? Like for some reason, I always think of like these teams that have been around for a while, that their home run record, and especially with the steroids era, like it had to be, 400 or something like that. 252? Like, come on, man. That feels like Aaron Judge could have had that home run record. Anybody could have had that home run record. I think the four of us could have gone out there and gotten us 252 home runs combined. Like, it would have been something like that. But it's just, like, it's awesome for Pete Alonso.
Wiffle ball, yeah.
It's awesome for Pete Alonso, but, like, man, like, I would have thought the Mets, like the names on there, like Darryl Strawberry, the players that have played there for the Mets, it would have been somebody else. 252 seems super low to me, especially whenever I'm looking at like Evan Longoria is the all-time leader for the Tampa Bay Rays at 261. The Rays all-time home run leader is higher than that of the Mets. It's wild to me.
Yeah, you think about the Mets' history, they haven't had a lot of offensive guys that have stayed there for a long, long period of time. Star players that just haven't stayed that long.
There's the illegitimate stepchild of New York, I guess, New York City.
Always.
So that's what happens.
The Clippers.
So So how about them Milwaukee Brewers? They've won 11 straight. They destroyed Paul Skeens. They gave up 4 home runs and a 14 to nothing banging over the Pittsburgh Pirates. Not that that's anything unusual, but the fact that Paul Skeens was on the mound, it tells you. I mean, this is the second time since 2019 that the Milwaukee Bucks, the Milwaukee Brewers have won twice had 2 double-digit straight wins. So that's cool. Milwaukee, man, you can say all you want about LA. I don't know. Milwaukee's showing something right now.
12 straight wins. This is a team, though, historically, they've had these types of regular seasons and then they've flopped badly in the postseason. I don't know what, a lot of times have been their hitting, other times have been their pitching, but they've gone in, I think, with the best record more than once, at least once in the last decade when Craig Counsell was there and flopped in the first round. I said on my show, I couldn't remember them winning a playoff series since 1982, quite frankly, when they went to the World Series. And then somebody pointed out that they did win a divisional round in 2011 or something. But who remembers that? Nobody remembers. That's the problem with baseball and so many teams in the playoffs. It's hard to remember these series because there's just so many of them each year. They're playing great baseball. They got the best record in baseball. They're very well-rounded. I like their manager a lot. It's a team. If I have to, again, I root for one team, but if I have to, pull for somebody in a game, I would like to see them do well in the postseason. This is all for fun now.
To be the man, you got to beat the man, and I don't care what I see out of them. I can't imagine any team right now beating the Dodgers. Like, the Dodgers might beat themselves, but it's still the Dodgers, right? And until that monster is slain, I'm going to be terrified of that team, right? Like, that's just the way that I am with the Dodgers. They got a bunch of guys on the IL. They're more than likely going to get the majority of those guys back. They're going to get right on the right track. They have 69 wins. I think they have the second best record in the National League. And we're looking at this team as like a disappointing type team, right? Like they remind me a lot of the Kansas City Chiefs. They're just coming at you like a zombie. No matter what they're going to do, they're still the Dodgers. I think it's an awesome story that you got Milwaukee doing as great as Milwaukee's doing. They 76 wins now on the season, but it's until I see them like dominate the Dodgers, I'm not going to get happy with them dominating whoever they're beating right now. Like, who doesn't beat the Pittsburgh Pirates? Like, let's be honest.
The Pirates.
Well, they had Paul Skeens out. That's their best pitcher. He's one of the most dominating pitchers in the National League. Well, one of the dominating pitchers in the National League. So that's impressive in itself. They had 4 home runs off him. I mean, guy doesn't really have too many bad days. So that was a bad day for him.
But this is the thing, like, Paul Skeens, like, he's an amazing pitcher. We can all say that. He's 7-9 on the season, man. Like, he's got a losing record because of how bad the team is behind him.
Yeah, Paul Skeens won't be spending a lot of years in Pittsburgh, to my other comment about,
Yeah.
He'll be a Yankee soon enough.
That's right. He'll look good in pinstripes, I'll tell you.
Yes,
right.
he would.
He looked good in the English tea, too. But anyway, how you doing, Rick? Well, those LA Dodgers that you're talking about can't seem to beat the Angels. The Angels are 5-0 against them this year. So obviously they're not in fear of them.
Are you calling LA Hulk Hogan and you're calling the Milwaukee Coco Beware? I mean,
Coco.
are you calling him a jobber?
Hey,
Let me tell you
I'm
something,
just saying.
brother.
Hey, Milwaukee's just playing really good right now. I mean, yeah, to keep historic value of the Milwaukee Brewers in the playoffs. I mean, you could say that, but every year is different. So we don't know what's going on. They're playing the best baseball of any team right now. So, I mean, I don't know.
We can all say every year is different, but history is history, and history will always find a way to repeat itself, man. I am waiting for the Red Sox to get their other 84 years of not winning a championship. I want another 108 years of the Cubs not winning a championship. Give me that. I am the hater of the year. I got no problems with it. History is going to do what history is going to do, man. Until the Brewers break that history, there will always be the Brewers choking in the playoffs.
Okay, so I guess we just ought to chalk that up to Brewers are not going to make the playoffs. Very interesting because they're going to be put out. So
Watch them get swept in the first round. Like that would be, you know what? I am rooting for that now. I want that. Inject it into my veins. I need that now.
do that.
Brewers getting swept in the first round.
Don't do that. Leave the Brewers alone. Leave the Brewers alone. They're okay team. Just leave the Brewers alone.
They're an okay team. They'll be all right. They're just
They'll be all
I
right.
get killed in Milwaukee now.
Right. No Milwaukee fans.
With as bad as I talk about Green Bay all the time, I don't think I'm welcome in Wisconsin.
Oh, Lions fan here, so that goes without saying anything. Also, just one NBA note: the Carolina Hurricanes owner Tom Dundon has agreed to buy the Blazers from the estate of Paul Allen. The agreement values the franchise at over $4 billion. Mr. Dundon intends to keep the Trailblazers in Portland, which is a good thing.
You know,
more teams.
You see the Celtics sell for 6.6. You see the Lakers sell for 10, and you kind of think to yourself, "Oh, $4 billion, that's cute." Right? Like we shouldn't think that way about money anymore, man. Like that's a lot of money. That's awesome that the Trailblazers, you know, I think that's one of the things too, is like a team like that needs to stay in Portland. If I'm not mistaken, that's the only major league team that Oregon has, right? And like the Portland Trailblazers, like they've got a lot of history there. I know they haven't won a championship since what was it, Bill Walton in the 70s. Keith, maybe you can help me out with that. I don't know the exact year, but they were a fun team to watch, man. Like they were that team you were rooting for in the early 2000s, right? Like Rasheed Wallace and Bonzi Wells and like Arvydas Sabonis. Like that was a team that really got people excited. I think Scottie Pippen was even on those teams at one point, right? Like it was a fun team to watch. They've kind of fell on hard times with Brandon Roy, with Greg Oden and stuff like that. Nobody wanted to stay there. Like LaMarcus Aldridge not wanting to stay there. Damian Lillard ultimately having to move on, now coming back. So it's just great to see that Portland's going to be able to keep that team, because the last thing you want is a diehard fan base like that losing their team a la Seattle. You know, Bill's not here, but just like Seattle, you don't want to see that stuff.
100%. I'm glad to see them stay there. They may have an MLS team, but I'm not sure. Or MS, what is it?
Yeah, I think they do have a soccer team.
Is that really
what on God's green earth is MLS?
Yeah, well, it's a awful disease. I think Lou Gehrig died.
Boy, talk about unprofessional.
I'm trying to live up to the name.
I would say, I don't know. I mean, Tip, you brought up all the reasons why maybe you should move. They hadn't been, like you said, since Scottie Pippen, man. I mean, they went to NBA Western Conference Finals, and they were one game away, I think, one play away from getting to the finals. And it's just really been not much, man. I mean, the Blazers that I knew were the ones that went up against the Lakers, went up against the Bulls with that whole team. I mean, Kevin Duckworth with
Clyde Drexler.
Yes, Chris. What's not Clyde Drexler? What's the ball-headed point guard? I couldn't even think of his name. God.
Terry Porter.
Terry Porter. Yes, that team was loaded. What a great team, man! It's just, but I haven't seen much since then. I'll be honest with you. It's just not much. I don't know. Maybe the new management was striking new blood, and they'll get all the players that they need to be competitive. But man, it's been a long time since they've really been competitive.
But the fan base supports them. That's why you can't take that. And they haven't had a great history, but they had one of the great. That team was one of the best teams in professional basketball history. And
I agree.
Better, by the way, the next year before Walton broke his foot. Every once in a while, I'll give you guys a book. Read a great book by David Halberstam called Breaks of the Game. And it's about the season that followed their championship season and Walton breaking his foot and suing the franchise and all this stuff. It's a great, great book. And that was going to be a great potential dynasty. And it fell apart just like that. It shows you how fragile sports potential dynasties are. But they supported.
So you're kind of fading out there, Keith.
Am I?
Yeah. Now you went to.
Where are you, Keith? What happened?
We need all of Keith, not the disembodied voice of Keith. We need it.
Am I back?
It's still low.
What the hell? Hang on. How about now? How about now?
Yeah,
A little
great.
bit better. A little bit better. Yep.
I don't know what happened to my volume.
Uh-oh. Keith turned himself down. That's how much he hated that argument. He turned himself down.
You guys talk a little bit. I'm going to
Self-muted.
board. You guys talk a little bit.
Self-muted.
Might have been a ghost. Might have been a ghost
Go
of
ahead.
Bill Walton saying, "I don't like anything about that book."
Right.
I'm gonna look
about
the book up. I'm always looking up like sports books and stuff like that. So I'm gonna look into that book and give it a read. But like, it feels like the Blazers are just one of those dynasties that was like never able to get over the hump, right? Because like you're talking about those days. I wanted to bring up one more name from like those '90s teams. Jerome Kersey. That was my guy on that team. Right?
Yeah,
Like
Jerome
whenever
Kersey.
you think of those teams, like okay, they had that window. Then they get that next window in the early 2000s with the team that I had mentioned previously. They kind of drift off, like the Brandon Roy stuff. Like if Brandon Roy, I think that's one of the biggest like what if players, right? Like if he had been healthy, that guy could have carried the team with LaMarcus Aldridge. Who knows what could have happened?
Greg Oden.
Yeah, but we're talking about a team that like always seems like they were that close, right? Like let's not forget it was what 3 or 4 years ago when we got Dame time. Damian Lillard hits that shot right over Paul George, starts looking at the watch like that. That's again how close they were to being like a contending type team. But it just seems with like Portland for whatever reason they get almost there and then just can't finish it off, man.
Yeah, that's where the Pistons got Rasheed Wallace from, Portland,
Yes.
and get their championship team to go.
Jermaine O'Neal. I'm just going to start naming guys that were on those early 2000s
Yeah.
Portland Trailblazer teams.
Trying to think of a guy on the bench. How's my mic now? Will I sound good now?
Yeah. Now going back to the early '90s, late '80s, there was another guy. He passed. Clifford. What was his name?
Robinson.
Oh,
yeah, he passed, man.
Uncle
Yeah,
Cliff.
he was also a great player for them, man. It's just
Uncle Spliff. He actually started a really awesome THC business in the early 2000s in Oregon.
Uncle Spliff.
oh really?
That was his nickname. That was legitimately his nickname.
Uncle
I love
Cliff.
Uncle Spliff. Yep.
Uncle Spliff.
Uncle Spliff. Excuse me.
Yeah. So, anybody want to care to comment to the Crooked Commission's question down there about what are your guys' thoughts on the UFC being bought by Paramount for $7.7 billion?
So I'll start it off with this. Like that's awesome for the UFC. Like we're watching the UFC continue its trend upwards, right? My biggest issue is that, like he says, there are no more pay-per-views starting in 2026. That is not the case. Dana White came out yesterday and said, we're still going to have pay-per-views, guys. Like you have to pay for the streaming service kind of the same way that they were doing with ESPN, where if you have ESPN Plus, you can get UFC fights and watch the undercard. But if you want to watch the main event, you got to pay a little bit more, brother. So they're still going to have that pay-per-view model in order to make sure that they're making their money. It's wild to me, though, that we're talking about the UFC in this type of stratosphere because I feel like they should have stuck with ESPN, right? Like the marriage they had with ESPN had them all over the place. People were talking about the UFC all the time. Who the hell has a subscription to Paramount? Like genuinely.
I do, actually, yes.
You were 100% my
Of
target.
course, you're gonna keep always have it.
Paramount.
Mine is free through Sling, so
You guys don't watch
I got
any
one.
Shirley Sheridan shows? Are you kidding me? You don't watch Yellowstone or Landman?
I watch Yellowstone. That's the reason why I got it.
Thing? I mean, great shows. You're missing. You don't know what you're missing on Paramount.
I will take your word
I
for
don't
it.
know if I would have said that. out
Thus,
loud.
the Crooked Commish. I mean, he's telling you who he is. The Crooked Commish.
Well, I mean, I'm the same way, right? Like, I live right on the border. I can just change the channel over to one of the Mexican stations. I get that stuff for free. All the boxing matches and stuff like that, I always get for free. So all I got to do is just change it over to channel 26. I know exactly what I'm watching, so I'm good with it, right?
I can't see Sly Stallone talking in Spanish. I can't understand him in English. How am I going to understand what he's saying in Spanish?
Yo, Adrian.
So I'm with the Crooked Commission on this. Like, I don't pay for it anyway. I'm also not a huge fan of the UFC. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, I've tried to get into it. I can't. It's kind of like soccer with me. Like I'm on this crusade of trying to get like into soccer, and I just cannot do it. I was watching like the United States national team. I was like, let's go America, right? I was Hulk Hogan, real American, playing in the background, a flag. There was a bald eagle on my shoulder. I was into this, and I fell asleep in the first period or the first half. Like it was just that hard for me to try to watch this thing, man. Like I'm the same way with the UFC. I can't do it. And I know a lot of the events, because of working at ESPN, a lot of the events are like 8 to 9 hours long. How can they hold your attention that long, man? Like, it's insane. But good for them. They got their money. Awesome to Dana White. Maybe he'll pay his fighters from now on.
Yeah, always.
Do they make money? What are these fights? What are the prize? I don't pay it. In full transparency, I've never even watched one UFC.
UFC.
What is
Yeah, UFC.
What are the prizes?
It's like WNBA money.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, like it's about that. Like the WNBA is getting 10% of the revenue share. UFC winds up getting, I think it's like 18 to 20%. But that's for all the fighters, man. Like it's not a lucrative business for the fighters, and that's why like John Jones and players, fighters like that have wanted to like unionize and kind of get more money going their way. That's why Ronda Rousey had to wind up going to the WWE. Conor McGregor taking that match with Floyd Mayweather so that he can get a payday, because they weren't getting anything like that from the UFC. Yeah. Maybe now with $7.7 billion they will, but nothing in Dana White's history makes you think that he's actually going to wind up paying his fighters.
Greed.
Jeez, that's like.
Could you imagine getting your ass kicked on national TV for $10,000? Like, I ain't doing it, man, because now I've got to pay like all the people behind me that helped me get my ass kicked.
Losers in boxing make. I mean, the fit guy makes more money than that.
Well, they're getting guaranteed paydays on both sides in boxing, right? I mean, so big paydays. So
I mean, you can break somebody's arm, man, a leg. I mean, these guys, and you don't get that much money. That's crazy.
How much do they fight? Do they fight like boxers? It's not once a year. I take it. They must fight a lot.
No, they fight maybe 3 or 4 times a year.
That's not a lot. How do they? Well, they must have other jobs or something. Because how you living on that?
You know. I like that we're on the ground floor of this. It's going to be in like 50 years from now. There's going to be kids like, oh, all those UFC fighters back in the day, they were fighting plumbers and car salesmen and stuff like that. That's what
probably.
Ken Jones wasn't a real good fighter. He was fighting plumbers.
And then walked across the street to the stadium to start selling popcorn, so because they need to supplement their income.
Right. I came across this old YouTube video, and this old bastard couldn't even get the letters in the right order when he was talking about the fights.
But like, so the Cricket Commission saying that they get $100,000 or more depending on how big your name is. Again, like look at a Jake Paul fight. Like, and we can say this, like boxing might have gone this weird route with Jake Paul, but even Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor lost that match. It was an exhibition match. He loses that match and made $250 million from one boxing exhibition.
I do that.
Of course.
I would too.
Sign me up.
I actually paid the pay-per-view price to watch that too. I was like, I'm watching this one for sure.
My eyes would be like this when I'm trying to sign my check.
Right. Trust me, it's $250 million. I'll trust you. With my eyes open. I do like the fact that I do like the fact that the UFC has a title belt. You can see I like my title belts. They have a title belt that's called the BMF, and it stands for Bad Mother Effer. Like I like that title belt. Like if I won that championship, I think I'd be a happy man.
I don't need to pay me. I'm like Deion Sanders. Pay me. I don't need. If I'm a bad mother effer, pay this bad mother effer. Yeah, please.
Could you imagine you're the bad mother effer? You got this big old belt, but you walk out with $20,000.
Walking out to your Festiva, Ford Festiva, you barely fit in it.
Again, before you have to pay the.
Why does that have Kanye West written all over it? But anyway,
win the Super Bowl and drive off in a Hyundai.
Yeah,
you're the bad MFer and you drive off in a Festiva.
Walking out like Bubba Smith when he tried to get in that little bitty Honda Accord, he had to take the seat out and drive on Police Academy. If you all remember that.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
So speaking of people getting paid, switching over to the NFL, running back James Cook and the Buffalo Bills agreed to a 4-year, $48 million extension, $30 million guaranteed. About what I thought he was going to get paid, $12 million a year. That's about what he should. He was aiming for 15. I see what he was doing. He was starting high and just working down from that point. So that's good. I'm glad they need him. I think he's a big part of that offense.
100%. He's one of the best backs in the league at this point, and now he's probably one of the higher paid guys because we're still not paying running backs, and probably aren't going to. I think Saquon's the only guy getting any kind of real money.
McCaffrey.
I mean, it's
And
funny.
Kamara, yeah.
That's true. This team needs him for sure. I mean, they're not that deep at running back. I was watching Hard Knocks just before I came down. I was watching last night's Hard Knocks, and he still hadn't signed yet, obviously. But they talked a lot about the hold-in and whatnot. He participated even when he did practice early on, and then he did the hold-in thing. But and it's probably a better way to go about this. It's a more amicable way to go about these contract disputes because he's there participating in every bit of training camp except for practice or the game. They want him to play in the game, and he could if he wasn't practicing, obviously. But I don't know. Again, I'm glad these guys get their money. I just want them to, like I said 100 times, if you got a contract, you should be willing to fulfill it. And if I want to give you more money, I will. And if I don't, you should fulfill the one I already gave you. But good for him. Got his money. Didn't miss any games.
That's a very Jerry Jones style of thinking right there, Keith. I love it. It's awesome.
I
Yeah,
did
like
times. You're right.
but like he said, like Duke got paid. He's a big part of the team. Awesome for them. I still don't think this is the Bills' year. There's something about that team that I feel like they've got to find a way to get better, right? Like we've seen them go into the postseason and have underwhelming performances. And I don't think it's going to be the running game that's going to wind up helping him out. Good for him. He got paid. Like he's going to help them get to the regular season or get through the regular season, be a playoff contending team. But what do they do in the postseason is really what matters with this team now, right? Like we're beyond the whole. It's cute if you're a team that wins a ton of games. It's super cute. Now it's the pressure on you got to start winning rings because if you don't win those rings, now the legacy of Josh Allen, the legacy of that team is going to start falling back. So good for him, but the pressure's there to perform and win championships. And until I see that with the Bills, everything they do is going to be super underwhelming, just like Hard Knocks. Hard Knocks sucked. The first episode of it was terrible. I'm normally a fan of Hard Knocks. I say Hard Knocks, I knock down Keith's microphone. That's what I do, baby.
The microphone was going through it with the Hard Knocks.
Gremlins here. I don't know what's going on. No, by the way, the second episode wasn't much better. It used to be so much better. This show, it's terrible right now. Liev Schreiber, its voice, the narration is the only thing that's any good. The show itself, there's no storylines here at all, except the Bills not winning a Super Bowl, which they don't even really hardly touch on, except for about 2 minutes this last episode.
Well, that's a chance they took by putting a winning team on there. That's what it was. It's basically made for teams that are struggling and are trying to get out of that hole.
Right.
If anything, like Hard Knocks needs to be around the Dallas Cowboys 24/7 because that would be the circus you want to cover.
Yeah. Okay. Keep that thought. Are the Buffalo Bills, and I saw this somewhere, this question, are the Buffalo Bills kind of like the Toronto Maple Leafs of the NFL?
That's a good comparison. Yes. Actually, the Maple Leafs don't even get to like championship series, though, conference championship series. The Bills at least have gotten that far and just can't get past mostly the Chiefs, obviously. And and then people are going to say, well, even if they win, to your point, even if they win and the Chiefs are appreciably worse this year and they go to a Super Bowl and get through the AFC, people will say, yeah, but they never got past the Chiefs when the Chiefs were at the top of their game. People are always going to have that blemish from these last, 4 years or so. And it's a very talented team, and Josh Allen is a talented guy, and I hope he doesn't go through his career without winning, because there's some great quarterbacks who never won, and we don't think of them the same way. We just don't.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I feel the same way about the Lions too. I mean, if they win the Super Bowl, it's going to be like there's going to be some caveat behind it. Whatever, we got one.
I mean, look, it's always going to be that team. That's some great team. And Keith, come on, you sitting there behind that microphone with that headset on, knowing with that weird smirk on your face, you know where I'm about to go with this. I mean, you got one of the greatest teams that you've had. I mean, in the Patriots, and you had Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. You guys were in his way. He got through one time. He was able to get through in Indianapolis.
We should have.
But he had a lot of great teams. Bad defenses probably, but he had a lot of great teams. But Peyton Manning was one of the guys that was knocked for not being able to win the big one. I mean, it was in college in Tennessee and also in Indianapolis. But you still don't take away from the greatness of Peyton Manning. So my point in bringing that up, I know you're not.
I'm not.
But I'm just saying, you said people think differently of him. I just think that it's always going to be somebody that's like Michael Jordan. And I hate to use that analogy, but everybody had to come through Chicago, like Michael said. Everybody had to come through Chicago.
Yeah.
And nobody ate off of his time. Barkley, Malone, Kevin Ewing, all these guys. Great players, great teams. Had Jordan not been around, they probably would have won a championship. Same thing here. I think with Mahomes and Andy Reid, man, they just gotta. Even though they didn't win it last season, they didn't win a Super Bowl. They're still the team to beat. And same thing for Lamar. He's probably gonna have that knock on him too. I mean, great regular season player, great team. They even better this year look like, but they may not win. It's just what it is.
You got to remember too, Buffalo lost 4 Super Bowls, so that adds on to the whole nostalgia. At least Peyton Manning won a Super Bowl with Indianapolis, and then he went to Denver and won one. So I mean, it's about winning a big game, really, and they haven't done that. So,
and that's what I was going to say, right? Like going back to my history repeating and stuff like that. I want Buffalo to make 4 straight Super Bowls and lose it again. Like that's I need that to happen once again, just so that way we can have this happening time and time. Like history is a beautiful thing. Let's replay it. Buffalo, make your Super Bowls, get past Kansas City, get past Baltimore, make your Super Bowls, but then lose. As long as it's not to the Eagles, just lose.
Come on. The only Ray Finkel moment I want to see is on Ace Ventura. I don't want to see a kicker missing a kick and losing to the Giants. No, I don't want to see. I don't want to see that again, because they should have won that game by all intents and purposes. That was a game that Buffalo, if they had to win a Super Bowl, it was the first one. Against the Giants.
I really think if they won that Super Bowl, they might have won 2 or 3 Super Bowls if they'd won that one. Actually,
yes,
that was a great team, and getting to 4 straight Super Bowls, by the way, is quite an accomplishment in itself. Nobody else has ever done it, so you can't say that wasn't a good team.
Let's not forget the buzzsaw that they ran into in that 3rd Super Bowl where they lost 52-17.
Was that the second? That was the second one, right?
That was the 3rd one.
No, you're right. That was the 3rd against the Cowboys. Oh yeah, you would remember that for sure.
Of course.
I had Don Beebe on mentioned, and he reminded me about stripping Leon Lett at the goal line.
Oh my God. Leon Lett was a national treasure. I'll say that much. He really was. Like that guy.
By the way, I dated a woman that he was her cousin.
Nice.
Don Beebe or Leon Lett?
Leon Lett.
No,
Don Beebe. I got the
Don Beebe. I'd rather brag about the Leon Lett one, not Don Beebe. That's yeah.
But Don Beebe's a tremendous human being. I tell you, I had a great interview with Don Beebe.
You did. I saw it. It was great.
Yeah, he's a great interview. Doing great things at a small college now, football coach. Doing great.
Yeah.
Things.
I'm gonna find out where that college is. I'm gonna find him with a football in his hand. I'm just gonna knock it out of his hand.
How many guys down 40 points would have chased a guy 100 yards down the field to strip him at the one? Nobody else.
Just to say no, that's not happening on my watch. No,
you're not getting 60.
Yeah. Right.
And near to dear to Keith's heart, Cameron Haywood may set out games among options amid contract disputes. I just don't. Cameron Haywood needs to sit down somewhere. You just got a
if he sits down, he might not get back up at 37. He's near retirement.
I mean, yes, he deserves. He's like the 22nd highest paid defensive lineman in the league. He deserves more than that. True. However, then you should have put that stuff in your contract last year when they gave you a 2-year extension.
I don't know how
he's pushing Social Security right now, and it's hard to say that. I mean, for real, what you got to tell an owner that, hey, I need to make more money just on my last go around, and next thing you know, he breaks a toe or something, and he's done. And you just paid this guy all that money at the tail end of his career. He made a crap ton of money. And I get it. He was, don't get me wrong, he was all pro last season. But are you going to get that? Is there a promise that you're going to get that this season at his age? It's hard. It's hard to say.
I mean,
guy's made a lot of money in his career, and we just got to bleed every last drop out of it. I get it, but I don't get it at the same time.
No, I mean, I totally get it. If the team's out there willing to pay you, bend them over the table, make them pay you, right? Like that's the way. I probably shouldn't have said that. I apologize, but like
I don't even know what you're talking about, so that's fine.
Bend them over the table.
Some weird game of Twister going on here, or what?
You just look, damn it.
Maybe.
You gotta do what you gotta do, right? Like you just gotta get paid, and like if he finds a way where he can get a couple extra bucks, make a couple extra bucks, right? Like the Steelers aren't going anywhere. We can all say they're maybe the second or third best team in that division. They're not a Super Bowl winning or contending type team. Do what you got to do on your way out. Make as much money as you possibly can. If all of us were in that situation where we could demand more money, we would 100% do that, right? Like all of us would at the drop of the hat. Sure, you've got your contract. Sure, you've got this and that. But at the end of the day, that team doesn't care about you more than you care about that team. Get as much money as you can out of them, because at the end of the day, sports are a business. It's all a transaction. Milk them for what you can. And if you can't, hey, at least you tried.
But then play if you have a contract. If you can't get it and you can't bleed them out of it and you can't put them over the table to get it, then go play out your contract.
It sounds so much different coming from you.
Why are we putting people over the table?
If you're able,
It sounds more PG when Keith says it.
I was about to say.
It sounded very awful, didn't it?
It sounded so much more pleasant whenever Keith says it.
Oh, because he said put versus been.
Oh, yes, there it is. The proper wording.
And staying with those same Steelers.
Oh, God.
Funny of the day, Roger says his new helmet looks like a damn spaceship. Well, dude, let me tell you, we can go so many places with that comment because you're already in a spaceship.
He's already been on one, at least
one.
The offer's still there. I am willing to do ayahuasca with Aaron Rodgers anytime that he wants to do ayahuasca. All I'm saying is, like, he was talking about how he used the same helmet for 20 years. And you know what? That makes a lot of sense now. That helmet he's been using for the last 20 years, that's why he's got that big old dent in his forehead now. Like, it's all it is laying down the groundwork for what the new excuse is going to be, right? Like in Green Bay, the team wasn't good enough around me, despite the fact that they made 2 straight NFC championship teams. The Jets, the injury, this and that. I didn't get along with the coach, blah, blah, blah. All it is laying down the groundwork for what the new excuse for Aaron Rodgers is going to be whenever he ultimately doesn't reach the expectations people have of him this year, and the Pittsburgh Steelers are an absolute joke in their division.
I have nothing to add. I mean, that says it all.
It's Aaron Rodgers.
The helmet sucks. Rodgers cannot win with a bad helmet. We know this.
This is why this is called the Unprofessional Professional Sports Show, because we have to add Aaron Rodgers on here because he's that guy.
But again, I'll do ayahuasca with him anytime he wants.
I'm sure you will. Yeah.
I think Tim wants some of that.
I have a buddy of mine who lives in Arizona, and he sent me a link. He's like, "Look, man, we can come here. We can try it out." And I was like, "I don't know if we're that close of friends to go do ayahuasca together. So maybe we slow it down a little bit."
Yeah, pump the brakes, buddy. Okay, so Shedeur unlikely to play versus the Eagles due to an oblique strain. He suffered an injury during drills early today. Let's see. A lot of people are yelling conspiracy in this whole situation, and I'm trying to figure out. There's a lot of ways this conspiracy could go, but I don't know what your guys thought on it.
Well, I'm not a big conspiracy theory kind of guy, so I doubt there's any. I'm an Occam Razors kind of guy. The simplest answer is almost always the right one, and I'm sure he got an oblique injury and he needs to sit out for a while. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I mean, he looked good the other night. It's probably good for him if he doesn't play again for a while. I don't know. But it also gives another guy a chance to step up. So I don't understand. Look at conspiracy theories. I don't understand. I'm sure Tip's got one here. He's got that look that he's got a conspiracy theory.
My question was going to be, what is the conspiracy theory? Like, I'm interested to know now. Like, what is the conspiracy theory?
There's one that there's one in favor of the Browns and one not in favor of the Browns. One in favor of the Browns is that they have this injury, so he doesn't have to play against the starters of the Eagles defense, because they're probably playing the starters. They said they're pretty much going to play the starters on that the next one, and that they didn't want to see they didn't want them to see the true Shedeur. Okay, that's the positive one, and the negative one, of course, is to keep him off the field as much as possible.
Whatever. Him playing well is good for them no matter what. If they don't want him on a team, it increases his trade value. If they do want him on a team, then they may have a quarterback. Who knows? So it doesn't help them to keep him out. I don't think. Maybe I'm being too simplistic about this. And I don't know how much would he played anyway.
I think that they have. Well, I think Gabriel was supposed to start, and then he was going to be playing the rest of it. But
he wouldn't have played against their starters. Then he likely wouldn't have played against their starters anyway if he played.
Well, like I said, it's conspiracy.
I mean, the Browns have 6 quarterbacks that they've got to get a look at, right? Like, we know Flacco's probably going to be the starting quarterback. Deshaun Watson's going to be there no matter what. Kenny Pickett, you got to see what you got with Kenny Pickett. You got to see what you got with Dylan Gabriel. You got to see what you got with Shedeur, right? Like, I'm one of these people, like, it's the preseason. Don't get too high, don't get too low. And I think this is what the issue that I had on Monday was, right? Is like, if you had just read, oh, man, Shedeur Sanders had an amazing game. And I was looking at the article. He showed this amazing accuracy and blah, 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 blah. 60% completion percentage isn't amazing to me, right? Like that's kind of middle of the road backup quarterback stats that you normally get through a regular season in the NFL. But if you're the Browns, you've got to play him as much as possible. So I don't see a reason why it would benefit the Browns not to play him. So that way you can see what the hell he brings to the table. Because there's no way you can go into the future with 5 quarterbacks. Like, someone's going to have to be off this roster in the next couple of weeks. And it's a real battle there. So if you're the Browns, are you taking 2 rookie quarterbacks into the regular season as your second and third quarterback? Like, is that really what you want to do? If not, then you need to trade one of them and have a showcase here of, look, these guys can be halfway decent for your team. You're a team like, I don't know, like the Cardinals or someone like that who's got a quarterback like Kyler Murray who can get hurt. Maybe you want one of these guys. Maybe you're the Dolphins and you got Tua Tagovailoa who's going to be hurt. Do you trust Zach Wilson, or would you rather go with one of these rookies who you might be able to trade for? So, like, for me, they need to push these guys out there as much as possible.
100%.
So I don't see any conspiracy here that would benefit the Browns.
Yeah.
No, I've got to disagree with you, Tip, about the not amazing part. I agree that 60% is not great. But I think when in preseason, I mean, you're playing vanilla, you're playing a little bit of, the second and third string. But with that said, I think the traits, when you see how mechanics looks great, hold the ball too long, probably not. Again, this is a rookie we're evaluating here. But 2 tutties in the game, man, and the way they look too in the red zone, those are some impressive touchdowns. That's what I would say amazing is being able to take a couple of drives down, and actually he had 3 drives with touchdowns. One was a rushing touchdown. So that's impressive. That to me, that's what's impressive. I agree, 60%. It's okay, but to put your putting points on the board is what matters. And if you're putting 7 versus 3, that's impressive to me. I think that's what's amazing that he was able to do that, considering he wasn't a first round, second round, third, fourth, but a fifth, 144th pick.
Yeah, but I think that draft position for him, like we can all agree, that's not Shedeur Sanders,
No.
right? Like he's not your typical 5th round draft pick.
Of course. I mean, but I think for me, I need to wear my shades right now because I've shaded everybody because everybody gave me a hard time about saying that he should have been drafted in the first round. And I watched his Colorado games. I thought he's an excellent player, but I guess everybody can say now that you see that that wasn't good. That wasn't I mean, I get it. Not every team in the NFL needed a quarterback, but the teams that did need quarterbacks allowed him to fall to the 5th round, which is not good.
I just want to keep up that same energy whenever Dylan Gabriel goes out there and passes for 162 yards at 61% completion percentage and 2 touchdowns. Like that's all I want.
I have a question about numbers. So I have been derided a lot. I don't remember about you guys, but about Michael Penix, and I do not think Michael Penix is that good. And everybody's all over Michael Penix. Kirk Cousins can't win that job. I'm on record as saying he'll win the job. Maybe not training camp, but eventually he'll play due to performance, not injury. Michael Penix completed 58% of his passes in the games that he played last year. That's it. 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. I saw nothing out of him that was any better or worse than what I saw out of Shedeur the other night. So I don't know why we're so down on Shedeur, and again, I don't know where you are on Penix tip, but I know everybody I talk to loves this guy.
Well, I love Penix because I'm left-handed and I love a left-handed quarterback. That's the only reason why I love Michael Penix. But I think you can look at he's got more talent around him, right? Like the ceiling for the Falcons as a team is higher than that of what the Cleveland Browns are right now. Penix can rely on Drake London. He can rely on Bijan Robinson. He can rely on Kyle Pitts to help.
Nah, not Musty Pitts. He can't rely on Musty Pitts. I don't think so.
I don't
that
think
guy.
Pitts was used correctly over the last couple of years, man. Like putting him in the slot is where you need to put
He didn't have the right deodorant. He wasn't sure. I think
you need Happy Nuts.
he needed some.
Yes, exactly.
HappyNuts.com.
I think Penix is more of an availability type of guy. I think injuries. He was injury prone, and he just didn't get. He wasn't open as much as you would like. I mean, this guy's supposed to be a real fast guy, and one of the guys that used to be on the show on Friday Night with the Fellas, Kevin. He's a Atlanta Falcons fan, and he said the same thing you're saying about not being used properly. But I watched their games too. I just thought that he just wasn't. I mean, again, to be an 8th overall pick, he hadn't shown me much. He hadn't shown me much at all. But with that said,
giving him this
I
job,
agree.
No lie. I don't get it.
What?
I don't know why Penix has been anointed as the next great Atlanta quarterback.
I'll say this. I'll say this. I'll say this about Penix, and I'll leave it at this. Everything is based on what he did in college, is what he did at Washington.
A lot of guys.
And I know how you think. Don't get me wrong. And he only played. How many games did he play? When he took over.
5.
3. He started 3. He played 5 games. He started 3, I believe. Then
That's. I guess that's what I would say. I would say base. Don't charge it to it. His head, charge it to his heart. I would say don't base it off of what those few games that he played. He took the scraps and the leftovers and had to go in as a rookie to take over. I think he's an excellent quarterback. I just
weapons that Tim mentioned in those 3 games, and again, he may be a fine quarterback. I'm not as high on him as everybody else, and I do think Kirk Cousins didn't play any worse. Well, he did while he was hurt. We know what happened to him, and he should not have kept playing. But before that, he was not playing any worse than what Penix played in those last 3 games.
Yeah, well, he was actually before he got hurt. He was playing great. Especially that 500+ yard game he had against Tampa Bay.
Yeah, So
And that's what I was going to say.
Well,
Like,
The
whenever
only person that would agree with you, Keith, is Sonia, our compadre. She would tell you that Penix is being held together by Gorilla Glue, and he's been injured a lot during college, and he's trash. So
she'll
she
go
kind of
out there,
agrees with you.
trash.
she'll go out there and say that Penix is too small while having Bryce Young as her quarterback.
Bryce Young represents the lollipop kids. I just think
Woo, if she sees some of this, boy, she's coming after y'all. Anyway,
that's for you, Sonya. That's for you.
Yeah, J Train, he ain't big enough to be one of them.
I didn't see any comments from Sonia about football this week after the first preseason game there where Shador beat her team. I haven't heard a word from her.
The first thing I said in our text message, I said Shador stats, and it was just like crickets. Crickets.
thumbs up.
At least I said, you know, I'm again, guys. Like, I apologize. I know a couple of weeks ago I said the Dallas Cowboys are going to go 17-0 after watching them lose in the preseason to the LA Rams. I think 0-17 is more than likely the route that we're going.
Wow.
Stop.
Well, at least you don't overreact one way or the other, at least.
Well, that's true. Yeah, he's not a primetime guy. For some reason, he doesn't. I don't know what's going on with Kirk.
I've actually thought he was talking about Star Trek for a second, so I had to reread that.
I where does all the Kirk Cousins hate come from?
I think it's just what Rick said, his inability to win in primetime games where everybody's watching. I think that's where it comes from. I really do.
But last
Although
I
he did switch that. He did
I was
switch
about to
that.
say he won the majority of his primetime games last
Yeah.
year. Like, he beat the Eagles on
Yeah.
Monday Night Football with a comeback. Like,
That's a great point.
Yeah.
like again, Kirk Cousins to me not the greatest of quarterbacks out there, but like I feel like we need to stop hating on the guy. Like, he's had being a 4th or 5th round pick, he's had a pretty solid
Fourth,
career.
yeah, he has. And what I will say is the real MVP is his agent. He got him the first guaranteed contract at $84 million, 3 years, and he got him all this money with Atlanta. So kudos to his agent. I need to hire him for my next gig. See what I can get out of him.
Right.
Bend him over the
Here's
table
info.
and get as much money as you can.
Oh my goodness.
So is everybody ready for next weekend, the start of college football? I know Keith is.
Absolutely, absolutely. By the way, week 0 next week, which we just started calling it week 0 here a few years ago, it became a trend. This is the first time we've had 2 ranked teams play each other in week 0, in Iowa State and Kansas State going to Dublin to play, where they usually send Notre Dame that week. But we got 2 other teams going out there, and I'm excited about that. There's a couple of games next week that I like a lot. I like that one. We all talk about week 1 because we know that we got some big matchups in week 1. 3 games with top 10 teams playing each other. But next
LSU,
week,
baby.
well, that's one of them. And but in week 0, you got that game, and I'm really interested in the UNLV game because I want to see the launch of the Dan Mullen era in UNLV. I think Vegas has got a really decent shot of getting in the playoff and being that group of 5 team in the playoffs. So I'm interested in that game too. So I think there's a couple of fun games to watch. They're playing Idaho. I think they're playing Idaho State, if I'm not mistaken, or somebody else, somebody like that.
Well, I mean,
Keith, are you talking about the top 25 tonight?
Yeah, we'll be talking about the top 25 and, you know, who's going to drop out. Every 18 of the last 20 years, a team ranked in the top 10 in the rankings preseason did not finish in the top 25. So who's that going to be?
Am I the only person that doesn't care about the top 25 preseason rankings? Like, there's no way.
They matter. I'm not saying they matter.
There's no way that Texas should be number 1 and then be a 3-point underdog to the 3rd ranked team in Ohio State. Like, if you're the number 1 team, I figure you'd be favored in your first game of the season.
To me, they shouldn't rank anybody until, I don't know, week 2 or whatever. Because what's the point? Again, we haven't seen anything. We don't see preseason games. We don't see anything. We're just got news coming out of camps and whatnot. But
They
there's a
looked
lot
really good in their spring game. In the spring game, they looked amazing.
Yeah. They were.
Yeah, but the biggest news has to be Penn State being number 2.
And they almost in the AP poll, they almost caught Texas. They weren't that far behind them. And again, I don't get that. By the way, it's ironic that they're even in the top 10 when James Franklin is like 1-19 against top 10 teams in his freaking career.
They're going to be the team that drops out of the top 10 the fastest, right? Like Miami's ranked number 10, and they're going to find a way to stick there for a while. Like I do think like the first week of college football, like 0 week is always fun. That's where like we get our first taste of it. But this year, week 1 is going to be so much fun. Like Miami, Notre Dame, that's going to be a fun game to watch. Like it's just
great game.
It's fun to watch. And you know, like with that, like the college football playoff committee, they're going to have their work cut out for them, because you normally don't have teams ranked this high facing off against each other. We got 3 games in week 1. It's going to be so much fun this season, and I'm looking forward to it.
I'm not sure there's ever been a week, much less week 1, where we've had 3 games with top 10 teams involved in it. I don't think it's happened.
Yeah,
maybe.
And I'm excited about one of them, LSU versus Clemson. Both Tigers, both Death Valleys.
That should be it. That's going to be a very telling game. And by the way, Brian Kelly hasn't won an opening game since he came to LSU either, by the way.
Yes. But you wait, buddy. LSU's going to roll in there as underdogs, and they're going to win. My man, Michael, is it? So how you say that name?
Ditton.
Ditton? I didn't want to jack that up.
Ditton Edwards.
Ditton Edwards. Appreciate it, kid.
Smooth. That was so smooth.
Wow.
Yes.
It was smooth. That's why we're
So
doing
while
it.
you guys are, so while those top 10 teams are beating each other up, you know, Michigan's get to play New Mexico, and they'll whoop their behind, and they'll just go right up in the rankings.
Oh, I hope New Mexico just puts a hurting on Michigan. Like I'm here for all the chaos, right? Like I'm a Texas Tech fan. There's a part of me that thinks like Arkansas Pine Bluff can find a way to beat Texas Tech just because Texas Tech finds a way to lose games that they should always win, right? The same thing being here in El Paso. I am a University of Texas at El Paso alumni. They're going to find a way to go 0-12 this season. I'm excited about it as well. Like I'm just glad that college football's back. The NFL is back. I was injecting preseason games into my veins the other day, guys. That's how obsessed I am with football. I was watching the UFL of all things just to get me by. I'm glad that we finally got here.
By the way, Texas Tech, based on payroll, they probably ought to be in the top 10 anyway, because they got
whoa. We don't talk about payrolls here. All right, there is no payroll. It's all on the up and up. We are.
Everybody's all over Ohio State last year for $20 million. Texas Tech has got $55 million invested in this team. They better do something.
You said it correctly. Invested. They're investing in the future of these student athletes. These are going to be amazing human beings whenever they leave Lubbock.
Michael Crabtree and somewhere Michael Crabtree and Patrick Mahomes are wondering, like, where was all this when I was playing?
Right.
Well, they actually got time in the NFL. I think the one that's complaining about it is Graham Harrell. He's like, man, I was a team. I was a quarterback on a number 1 ranked team for 1 week. Where's my money at?
I hope they do well. Mike Lee
they were ranked number 1 for 1 week after they beat Texas in that amazing game, and they got slapped and lost by 60 to Oklahoma the next week. It was the best week of my life when Texas Tech was ranked number 1.
I'm sorry. Wow. I know I'm gonna be biased when I say this. I just have no faith in Ohio State beating Texas. I just don't.
I think Texas is much better than Ohio State. People, look, I don't know that they got 14 guys that went to graduate matriculated to the NFL. Georgia was able to replace guys like that, but Georgia got worse, a little worse each year. What are they doing here?
That must have been a great date that you went on, man. It must have been amazing, because I know Texas Tech is investing in those student athletes, or like South Park would say, student athletes.
Yes, student athletes.
Oh, God. Listen, it's going to be a fun season. There's a lot of great storylines, by the way. And by the way, Archie Manning has put out a little warning to NFL teams that want to tank, because he says Archie ain't coming out till 27. So
I think that's the right
age 27. I mean, how long is he going to stay in college?
I meant year 27. But
I know what you mean specifically. I'm like, how long is he going to stay in college? Is what I'm saying.
Well, don't
Oh.
forget Miami had that player that was in college for like 9 years. Last year, finally retired from college football. So, that was awesome. He was a tight end. I can't remember his name,
I
but he
think
played
it's-
in Miami.
It might have been McMillan, I think. I think was his name. He's a big kid, like 6'9".
Mhm. It was McMillan. Yep.
Was
Yeah,
it
and-
McMillan?
I mean, the Saints got Tyler Shuck. He's 26 going on 27. So, I mean, yeah, we'll see.
I am going to say this is the last season of the COVID holdovers and stuff like that. So this is the last year that we get the 7-year seniors, the 6-year seniors. We'll never see this again. So embrace it the way that you should.
And with that,
It's
we
okay.
have to end our show. The Unprofessional Professional Show. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining in. Jeez. Y'all have a good evening until the next Wednesday, folks. Peace out. Have a good rest of your week. Enjoy
See you
some
guys.
football.
Bye-bye.
Take it.